playing early on and having troops countered. Koloki, go ahead and challenge me, because it just didn't seem right to me. It's like, these aren't spells, these are creatures, but realistically when they're coming into play they are spells. And so that was another revelation moment for me when I was in my Magic infancy. So just so everyone's aware, when you cast a creature or a troop in this game, it is a spell. Oh, that's a great hand right there. I think we're still fine though. Okay, we'll keep this. Unfortunately, I don't have a turn 1 play, but that's fine. Did I get the first turn? I got the first turn, which is what I really want versus him. Or, as the aggressive deck, you want the first turn always. It's debatable if you want the first turn as the control deck. Sometimes. Most of the time, you still want the first turn. Five different counter cards. You can run 4 of them each, counter the Oblivion. Right, but there's only so many counters, and at that point you're still going card for card with somebody, so there has to be more to it. And you don't counter everything, just like you don't kill things just because you can. Just because I can murder something doesn't mean I should murder it. So his Rage Fire is going to be like the card he needs to draw against me. If he draws Rage Fire, or not Rage Fire, if he draws Heat Wave, then I lose. Okay, apparently he's going to play the Heat Wave out. I might have waited, personally. I probably waited till I had at least 2 creatures out. But that is his prerogative. So... So this is a bad thing. I have no troops to deal damage to, so he'll deal it to himself. So I guess we'll see if this bug works. If this guy's bugged or not, if he'll deal the damage to himself. He should deal the damage to himself. Ow, I get the choice? I'll decline, of course. It may. Okay, so I can decline. Alright, that's fine. That's really good. Yeah, it's a may effect. Excellent. Excellent, Smithers. Excellent. So there's that Blaze Elemental, and that's the only one I'm going to get to play because this champion is bugged. Attack step, swing in. And then we'll burn on his end step. I should have made the Emberspire, which... Are you talking about in the last game? Right. Well, yeah, you could. Yeah, I could get some sort of resurrection, but it still sacrifices itself at the end of the turn. Oh, card design. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Well, Emberspire Witch is already so good as it is. I mean, it would have to cost more then. And end step burn to the face. Right. Yeah, I think I'd rather have it as in its current incarnation personally. I'd rather have the 2/1 for 2. So it works better for a deck like this. Let's go ahead and we'll do this stuff on our second main phase because it doesn't really do anything otherwise. He doesn't have haste or anything, so attack step. making sure I'm not gonna skip my main phase. Rage Fire to the face. And Tormentor. And Tormentor gets buffed because as long as I have no cards in hand, he gets huge. So, lots of damage coming through really fast. Hopefully. Well, sure, yeah, there's a decent amount of cards that can remove anything with 1 toughness. 1 toughness is really weak, even in Magic terms, So that Ivory Pawn should help them out a little bit. So whenever you're running any type of red deck wins, you always have to be ready to deal 20 damage, but you really have to be ready to deal like 25, probably, I'd say. If you can consistently deal 25 damage in like 4 or 5 turns, your deck might be viable, depending on what the other bodies are that are trying to block all that damage. So obviously we're going to play this guy before combat, so that way we can make sure to get the most value we can out of Tormentor. Yeah, I know, right? That's pretty nice. So this guy's going to make more orcs. Zoltog is probably the primary reason that orcs are actually going to be pretty good. He is unique, but as we've already seen, the way uniques work in this game, the most recent unique is the one that stays, and then the oldest one dies. But making more orcs is always good, even if they get swept out by Heat Wave. So it's just more pressure now. He's got a 1-2 turn clock. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, he's on a 1 turn clock, so he has to answer me here. So what has this been? 5 turns or 4 turns? I think we're going to at least a turn 6. So he needs a good answer here. And he doesn't have, well, I guess he can cast his sweep if he had, is it dual resources? I think it's 2 blood, so he actually needs another blood to cast it. Even with the Ivory Pawn, that'll give him 11 life, and I'm going to deal 11 damage to him, exactly, on the nose. Of course, this guy, I think, does he gain him life? No, lose life? Oh yeah, so actually, you know what, it is a 2 turn clock here. Unless I draw some sort of burn. Biggest problem with playing this guy is there's no... I have to play every card in my hand, so it's not like my opponent thinks I'm going to ever respond because I've got no cards in hand. So that's the biggest drawback to playing Tormentor. Oh, he does have the Heat Wave to respond. That's pretty good. I'm still not in a horrible position here, I feel. So this guy should regenerate before my turn. So we'll see if he dies before I draw my card. Yeah, that's fine. So he regenerated. That's good. Drew my card. I have to play this shard out because I need this guy to be 4/4. I need to just keep pushing damage. We get 2 more orcs here. That's nice. And then the nice thing also about playing like red deck wins is just that it's just I mean it's just kind of mindless or not. You know, you don't have to put a lot of thought into playing, which can be kind of nice when you really want to relax and play, and you don't want to have to think about every move like you're playing some sort of counter Magic deck. It's nice to just kind of go in and be like, yeah, let's just play some red. Yeah, I was just smashed in the face. Oh, I ran out of gas. Okay, you win. Yeah, I kind of figured this was going to be it. Let's rematch this again. Let's see if I can do it again. Yeah, this is going to be a deck that's going to be in the gauntlet for sure for people. The red deck wins. So this seems pretty good. I've got plays, so I'm fine. Basically, my top end on this deck is 4. So that's the maximum casting cost I believe that I have in this. Actually, you know what? I have a singleton Mancubus in here at the top end. So the play here is obviously Savage Raider. And really, the nice thing versus his deck is I have cards like this that have to attack every turn, and that's really bad versus something that can defend well against it, because it basically dies. It's going to die. But against his deck, where he doesn't have any defenses, it doesn't really matter that much. So let's see here. Yeah, it looks like we got second main phase cards here, so we're going to go ahead and continue on, do our attack step. He automatically attacks, I didn't even have to touch anything, because he has to attack. Hands off keyboards. Make sure I don't skip my main phase. Second main phase. So the play here to me looks like this guy, because then I can give things speed and push damage through faster. So that's what's going to be played. If he has some, and this guy's going to dump his life gain here. So that'll be interesting to see if this. We'll see if this guy's bugged or not. I don't believe he was when I played him at the convention, but. Okay, so prep phase. You also notice one of the nice things I really think about this game is that we've got these nice, it shows you what you could play by outlining things, which I think is just so new player friendly about this game. It's just really, really nice to have that, the ability to do that. So I think I can play a witch here and then give it speed. And then I'll also play my elemental, of course, which has speed already. I'm kind of overextending into his heat wave right now, but I don't really. Where is it? Is it not working? Oh, I have to do this. Target orc I control. Oh no. That's too bad. He's not an orc, so it doesn't work. So I should have actually waited till second main phase and played this guy. Yep. So there you go, reading the cards for the win. So that is a big play mistake there, actually. That's kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal. That's fine. Decent damage for the turn, though. So at this point in the game, I probably actually need to hold this guy and wait for that because I've got a decent amount of damage output every turn. I can go ahead and burn him to the face here. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I would normally do it at the end of during his end step, but I'm sure he knows I don't really have anything. So I don't have a lot that avoids his heat wave right now, so if I get heat waved, it's probably not going to be... He'll stabilize the game and I should lose. Yeah, I wish this was anything. Yeah, I really gotta read the cards. And some of that comes into playing a deck. You make those mistakes right off the bat, and then like as you keep playing the deck, you won't make those mistakes over and over again. So sometimes you just need to practice things. So he just murdered my guy, so I can't haste my orcs into play, which is probably the best play there because it's all 2 damage all around, and hasting guys into play is more damage I can put out more quickly. He also didn't play a heat wave, which he... So I'm going to guess that he doesn't have one in hand right now because he's got 6 cards in hand. If he had the heat wave there, he would have heat waved. I don't play by picture. I kind of do, unfortunately. I'm pretty noob that way. So I'm actually going to hold on to this troop because if he heat waves me again, if he top decks a heat wave, it's really bad for me, and I'll just keep pushing through the damage. The clock isn't that much different if I were to play this guy. So first strike damage, you can see there, and then regular damage. So it does make sure that it's doing the first strike damage and the regular damage phases properly. The other nice thing about playing a deck like this is most of the time I can just basically cede all actions to my opponent, which will be, I'm sure that'll be in the future. The ability to do that will be a thing. But right now I have to pass priority every time. So he extinctioned. So it's costly extinction there, but seems like a pretty good play. And now I have to put a threat back out onto the board. So that was definitely good that I didn't play that guy. So this will put him on the quickest clock, and we're going to hold this guy back. So we're going to play this Veteran Gladiator, which puts him on a pretty quick clock. A very, very solid creature, especially because it makes it so opposing troops can't block. Again, this is another one where it's like, it attacks every turn. So against his deck, really good. Against some other decks, maybe not so good, depending on where the board state is at. So that puts him on a 2-turn clock. Okay, the Ivory Pawn is going to put him on a 3-turn clock. I think it's a 3-turn clock. Ooh, that's helpful. I think I've played one of these. No, I haven't. It actually updates it, which is nice. It's fine. And I'll play this during my second main phase, which is really nothing else to target in his deck, as we've already seen. So if this was in a tournament, I would really have to make a judgment call at some point in time as to whether I thought there were creatures in this deck or not. Probably games 2, that's when I would try to make that judgment call as far as to start burning to the face instead of saving those burns for the player or for those creatures. But in game 3 I most definitely would, because I wouldn't have seen a creature in the first 2 games if I made it to game 3. Oh, he's still on a 3-turn clock. Just holding out. Yeah, the popularity of red deck wins is going to be very, I'd say it's probably going to be very much a thing. Actually, here we go. We'll just push through damage here. So I can actually play this guy, and then he can target himself for speed. Speed, which is the same as haste, so he can attack this turn. You notice the fog is over them when they're summoning sickness, and then it should go away, and it just did. And we'll go to our attack step, and that's pretty much game. Yep, Cloaky, good games as well. He has 3 Pact of Pains in hand. Yep, and that's the other thing with a deck like his. You know, you can't necessarily judge. He still has to draw the life siphon. He still has to draw certain things. So having 8 sweeps in the deck is nice, but at some point in time, you may not even draw the sweeps. So I'm going to take a quick break.